It's pretty small.
Small details make a difference.
There you go.
TikTok, let's talk. This is the Miten Shah Show. We've asked the same 7 questions to entrepreneurs from all over the world to figure out what makes us tick. TikTok, let's talk.
All right. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure having you here.
I'm glad to be here.
If you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what your company does, please.
My name is Amy Power, and I am the founder and president of the Power Group. So I like to say that we're more than a PR firm because
You must be a very powerful group.
Yes, I married that name, so I'm very fortunate. But we get very involved in our clients' problem solving, or helping our clients with their journeys. And so in being more than a PR firm, we get involved in certainly helping them communicate and leading them down the different communication paths that they need to go down. But I love getting involved in their company culture and helping them solve other issues. And we're also an award-winning crisis PR firm, which is the running joke at my office is that I love a good crisis. So knock on whatever. But I do a lot of that type of work.
Okay, cool. What got you started?
I had a really great professor in college, and I took my first PR class, and I just knew that was what I wanted to do. What I did not have a word for at the time was the word entrepreneur. And my grandmother, ironically, had her own seamstress business. And she, I guess, technically was the entrepreneur in the family, but nobody else in my immediate family was or ever talked about it. So why did I start the business? I think it was just in my DNA and my blood. I knew I was going to do something on my own that was not 9 to 5, like my parents. But I just I like to write. I like to communicate. I like to help people with their journeys, and that's truly what gets me motivated.
Amy, tell me what keeps you up at night and what makes you jump out of bed in the morning.
Okay. What keeps me up at night is worrying about my staff and people, payroll, all the normal things that goes into running a business. What gets me out of bed every morning is the fact that I've got a great culture. I have a philosophy of embracing and nurturing my millennials instead of harping on what some people think is negative about them.
Right. So what makes you jump out of bed is actually the growth and the empowerment of the culture that you give to your workforce.
Yes.
And it's more the operational issues which
Which are not that's not why I got into business, was to deal with all of the operational headaches like 401k and things like that. I just love coaching and educating and empowering. It's just fun for me.
What do you know now that you wish you knew when you started on this journey?
What do I know now? I know so much more after 20 years. It's hard to really pinpoint one thing, but I think I know myself a lot better. I think I really have figured out who I am. I'm very happy. I certainly have the normal stressors of running a business, but I think I have found joy.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a really good answer. That you know yourself a lot better, and it's end of the day yourself that has driven you so far.
Yes.
Yeah, but in this drive so far, there must have been some mistakes you made along the way that others can learn from. Can you share 1 or 2 of those?
I could probably share 100, like any entrepreneur, but I think it was, when you get into public relations, which is my field, you come into that field with a creative background, creative writing, you're just a creative person, right? And so there was a tendency for me to want to just ignore the numbers. Like I knew up here that it was okay and that I had enough cash, but in the last few years I've really focused on becoming a better analyst of my own numbers. And I had to really force myself, and in doing so I found that I really kind of enjoy math. It's so I think not paying attention to your numbers, that can be a mistake.
And if you take that a little bit further, it's also the details. The details are in the numbers after all. And I have the same error also sometimes. Yeah, you look at the big vision and you're forgetting the details.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And early on, I think I panicked like in the first couple of years of the business, and I decided to take my bookkeeping in-house. So I had a friend that had his own company. He said, "Oh, it's so easy, you can do it." Well, it was easy for him, but it was not easy for me. I probably left a lot of money on the table just by through sloppy accounting, and because I was too busy on creating work for my clients or creating an end product for my clients, and not getting that invoice sent out.
No one complains when the invoices they
exactly. Nobody was complaining about that. Yes.
Looking back at your journey, what are some of the things that really make you proud, happy, and satisfied?
I can think of one moment when my son said, "Mommy, are you a president?" And I think he was 7 or 8 years old, and it dawned on me that, wow, he views me not only as mom, but he sees me professionally. And so I hope I've been a good role model for my children, even though I don't believe that they will follow in my entrepreneurial footsteps. One's going to be a pilot, the other one's going to be a vet, but they see leadership. And so that makes me very proud and happy. And I think also it's just from day one, this is one thing I did right. I was very intentional about creating culture, and only with 2 people in the very beginning, but it was just very intentional. I want to be able to get up, hop out of bed, and be happy about where I'm going, and
if you're happy where you're going, the others will be happy coming there also, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you have to be intentional about it. You can't just say, "Hey, we have a great culture, and we have a pool table and a ping pong table." That's not culture. It's about educating and sustaining your people. They really do have to come first, and that is not always the easiest lesson.
Yeah, I mean that's a really important message that comes from within, right? Sticking to messages. If you had a billboard and you could put any message you wanted, what would that message be?
Well, it would be a digital billboard, and it would say, "Tell your story to everybody."
Nice, and that's what you're doing here. So
yes.
Thanks a lot for that. Yeah, that's very important, the story. And it's only when one shares the stories with others understand where you're coming from, and the world actually can be a better place. I feel also.
That's how we relate. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're here in Macau with GLC Summit. EO has made a big difference in my life. But if you can share some of the instances it's made a difference in your personal, family, community, or business life.
Personal, I think it's been part of the process of me getting to know myself better. And, professionally, I feel like I employ some of the best practices. If I embody one core value in EO, it's thirst for learning. So I feel like I'm just drinking from the fire hose all the time, and it's great. You just can never get enough of it. I've made some really fantastic friends, and in doing that, when I started my company, I was alone. I don't have any business partners. It was just me, and it's still me, but I'm surrounded by my employees now. But being able to go to a peer and understand that I'm not alone, and that person may be having the same issue or has had the same issue, and they can share with me how they overcame it. That's just invaluable. It's definitely worth its weight in gold in terms of what EO means. So that's personal, professional.
So I think we should tell EO to add one more word to their, they've got cool, bold, power, but they don't have power yet. They should have power.
I like that.
So I think that's the suggestion that we're going to make.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun with my name. Power Nap, you could use it in a million ways. So.
Awesome. Amy, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
A lot.